Hello, everyone. You are listening to the award-winning To Hull and Back podcast, proudly sponsored by Old Zoological Bar and Kingfisher Fish and Chips in Hull. I'd go through all your names, but no one cares about that. Longman scored the winner. Yes. So, Ryan Longman, the Hull City winger,
Who's he?
GOAT, the GOAT, the best winger we have at the club, and We've had 2 comments even before the episode began about me talking about Longman. We'll get to those, but I am joined by Joe, Will, Adi, and Christian for our very last episode of the year. So a very happy new year it's going to be after that surprise win against Blackburn. Firstly, Joe, I'll go to you first. How was your Christmas?
It was good, thank you, Nathaniel, and I hope everyone watching, listening, and you, Will, Adi, and Christian as well, and obviously you, Nathaniel, had a very, very good Christmas. And I'd just like to draw the audience's attention now to the fact that I am celebrating with a can of BP Giant on sale.
Those audio listeners can see clearly.
I've got cider as well.
Which, for lager, it has a bit of a cidery kick to it, I think. So that's my beer review. I know someone else on Twitter usually does that, but here we are. And yeah, Longman scored the winner. It was scrappy. It was scrappy. Sorry, it was scrappy. It was ugly. It wasn't pretty, but it's perfect and exactly what we need at the same time. 2 more performances like that in these next 2 games before Donny in the FA Cup will do me nicely.
Absolutely. Will, how are you feeling after that?
A bit downbeat, really. I mean, I was expecting us to get smashed.
Well, you predicted 3-0 and we got a win, so you'd get a point for that.
I think I can live with that, just about. I think the clean sheet's almost bigger than the fact we scored, because we've scored in almost every game under Ruben.
Yeah. If it wasn't my boy who scored the goal, then I'd probably agree with you, to be honest. But it was, so that's all we're going to talk about. Christian, how about yourself?
Yeah, no, like Will said, the clean sheet was needed from everyone it was needed, a clean sheet, but to get the win on top I'll take a load of Longman scrappy goals like that any day of the week to get us the win.
Absolutely.
I mean,
so would I.
I mean, I won't take his misses from his point blank range with an open net almost and somehow manage to find the keeper. But as someone's just put in the comments that I was going to bring up, Alfie Jones was absolute. Just what a game that guy had. I think Puerto ran his socks off again. Like over and over, he's been doing that. I honest to God, I saw glimpses of certain players that played really, really well, but at the same time, I think everyone could agree the game was a bit hard to watch as well with how we were playing overall. I mean, there was individual performances, yeah, for sure, but it was a very tough watch, and to grind out a win like we did, I mean, I'm buzzing with that, and especially, like we say, a clean sheet. But I mean, look, it's a lot to discuss tonight, I guess, with respect to the match. But they're the main key points that I think we can all pretty much agree on.
Mm-hmm.
The clean sheet, Alfie Jones, Longman with his goal, Puerto running his socks off. I think that's it in a nutshell for me at the moment.
Yeah. And AD, a clean sheet. I think we hadn't had one in 20 or so games. Is that the perfect Christmas present?
Yeah, well, listen, I definitely wasn't expecting us to win today. I thought a draw would have been a good result away from home. I think that, when you look at the chances that they had in comparison to the chances that we have, it's probably similar to some of the games that we've played this season, in the case that we've had probably the better chances in some of the games, but we haven't taken them. And they had a similar sort of thing to us today, in the case that, they had quite a few good chances, but they didn't take any. And I said to you, Nathaniel, on Twitter, I thought Longman took his goal really well, because we've seen other players that are under pressure and they've swiped at it, put it over the bar or whatever, and he just took his time with it, took it down, hit it into the net nicely. And I think Longman gets a lot of flack. Coyle gets a lot of flack. There's a lot of players in our team that get a lot of flack, but one thing you'll get out of them, Slater, anybody else who's getting the flack at the moment, you seem to get 100% maybe a little bit more every game. And Longman definitely, when he comes on, he's giving his all, and you can see he's chasing back and things like that. So, really pleased with the win, pleased with a clean sheet. Let's hope that, we can stay out of that bottom three now, and we can build on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Slater assisting Longman, probably two players there that need some positive, thoughts to go their way, because they've been, criticised quite a lot the last few weeks.
Didn't shoot.
Well, yeah, I mean, Adi, you mentioned players have been missing chances. We'll touch on the Preston game a little bit. It was Slater's chance early on in that Preston game that he missed. That was quite poor, but we don't want to rest on that. I think maybe away from home, we're clearly not quite as strong under Sayers as we are at home with the performances we've had. But maybe the Preston game didn't really quite work, but the game plan to sort of be defensive and maybe, have a smash and grab, that's what worked at Blackburn, and that's what I think we need. Because I'm not sure, at the very least, before we sign some players, we have the players to play well. We just need to, be strong defensive and get a bit of luck, and that's what happened.
Yeah, well, I think when you look at it, we've certainly got better under him. I know that we're not perfect yet, and you're right in what you say, Nathaniel. We need some help. We definitely need some help, but you can see that the team's together. He's doing some little bits and bobs that you can just see the change. It's definitely an improvement from where it was, and it was never going to be an overnight thing, because of when Ruben actually came across to us. He's got so many games on the top to try and then change something with us. It's really difficult. And to see how he's doing at the moment, to see the team together, to see them all clapping the fans at the end, that for me makes me, have a bit more of a optimistic outlook for 2025.
Yeah, I'd go for that.
I just want to say quickly, on the right back debate, I think Ruben did right dropping Louis Coyle, because he needed taking out the firing line. He was brought to too much criticism from Coventry. Then Swansea sort of first half especially did well, but then Preston was poor. But yeah, Cody Drama came in, first time he's played on his proper side. And I mean, that touch, Simon's put in the comments here, the goal was all about Drama's flick to Slater.
Oh, it was nice.
It was amazing what Cody Drama did there. And it was a moment of class. And, you look at the Preston game, it was a game with very little quality in it. That moment of quality there, Drama's little flick, following Pedro's little ball straight in between two men, then Slater's pass through to Longman. That's the moment of quality. That's the sort of one moment of attacking quality there was in this game, the Blackburn game, and we took advantage of it, and we need to do that more. And it could have been a second, but I think, was Pedro offside? To me, he looked just on. But it might be an inch or two either side.
I've not seen it. I have no idea.
Yeah, it looked just on to me too, to be honest with you, Joe. I mean, it was unlucky. I mean, it got called off. I mean, look, even Poiter hitting the post just before then as well. I thought that was very unlucky. I mean, look, there was a period during the second half where I don't want to say we dominated, because we didn't, but when it came to the chances and the clear-cut chances and the shots and thinking, come on, there's going to be a goal here, it was all Hull, which was, I guess surprising to actually think, hey, we're going to score here. We're going to score. And to get it ruled offside, obviously a bit unlucky. Would have to, again, look at the replay in slow motion, because it wasn't on as much as we wanted to kind of check it all out. I mean, the game itself, like I said, it wasn't, how can I put it? The first half, it was a bit, let's say, dull overall. There was a few in and out mistakes. I mean, yeah, we've just commented on, say, Drama's lovely flick to Slater for the goal, but then he did that little backheel flick to Jones, and we almost conceded a goal in our own half, which for me, it's one of those where you look at the type of thing of, I'm not kind of criticizing the player per se, but there's a time and place to do it, and the time and place is obviously up the pitch to do those type of things when you're on the attack, not when you're kind of trying to clear the ball out from your back line. So there is those kind of things mentality where brilliant, you've got the confidence to do it, but just kind of know when to do it. And with kind of Coyle not being on, I agree he shouldn't have been on. You can't. We all know Coyle gives 110% effort. Nobody can argue he doesn't. But if a player isn't in form, you can't just keep playing someone who's trying and trying and trying when they're not in form. And they do need that little break and a bit of the kick up the backside. And the thing is with Slater as well, a lot of people saying he's not in form, but I can't say it's the form thing with Slater because the effort is there. He's running the ball at the pitch. He's taking people on. He's covering. He's all over the place. The one thing he can't do is score from 2 yards out in an open net, which...
Because next to you know it's going to be a 30-yard screamer, don't you?
Exactly, Will. You know his goal's going to be it. And but they're the goals he scores, isn't it, really, with Slater? They are 30-yard wonder goals. They are 2-yard sitters. And I think that's half the time when you're playing him there. It's crazy. And like AD said, with respect to Ruben coming in, you can see we're a lot more settled. We are. I mean, playing with a midfield obviously makes a difference. Obviously.
Being trained to death also makes a difference.
Yeah, and not being trained to death as well. And
it's like amazing what happens just on the midfield bit, Christian. It's absolutely amazing what happens when you let players like Alzate, who was only dropped today because he needed a rest, absolutely. And he was the one bit of, well, he was the one positive to take out with Preston, really. How good he was. His moments on the ball were fantastic. Came on today and did an excellent job. Gustavo Puerta, what an engine he's got. And, you know, reports coming out that we can, well, that our loan becomes a permanent if he plays after today, 8 more games, which to me seems like now a no-brainer.
That's inevitable bar a horrendous injury.
Yeah, please hope to God he doesn't get injured.
No ACL.
It's amazing what happens when you let players in the midfield who have quality touch the football, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was the thing we said about him at the beginning of the season when Puerta. And I mean, I think you guys can back me up. I was always on the Puerta side, say his quality. If you play him right, he will do what you want him to do. And the last 2-3 games in a row, we've all turned around after he's been played the correct way as a midfielder. And you can see what he's doing. He's the player that's not only taking on and attacking players with the ball, but he's bringing the ball up the pitch.
Well, you'll know, Christian, I was a big critic of his, you know, when we was, you know, when was earlier in the season and not playing with the midfield. And, you know, I've seen him the last few games, you know, standing ovation from me when we played at home at the MKM because, you know, he run himself so that he couldn't run anymore. It was just he
can't walk.
He just managed to get off the pitch, the poor lad. So you know he's definitely improving, and Ruben's obviously seen his quality and seen what he can do and played him right. Which you know, as you say, it's a joy to watch. I think he's there's more to come from him probably.
I thought he had screamer. He only scores Weldies as well.
I'm sure his goals. Yeah, his goal's coming. I mean, he's hit the post twice now. Like Longman, his goal was coming as well after hitting the post
and
twice.
He's so much better as a slightly more advanced midfielder.
Yeah.
He was as a sitter, as a holder, as a 6, let's say. Yeah. He's better as an 8, if we're going with that terminology. He's so much better as an 8, where he can use that engine than he has been when he's come on in the 6.
But it still gets stuck in, like maybe Alzate doesn't quite as much. I like Alzate on the ball, but I think him and Alzate, I think if we had him, Puerta and Zambrano, that South American midfield, that might be the best option we've got. But
Nathaniel, don't tease me with a good time. I tell you now, please, seriously, if that would be nice. That would be the midfield though, wouldn't it? That really would be the midfield if Zambrano didn't obviously have his ban. And Alzate and Puerta together, that would be your central midfield, without a doubt. I don't think any of us can even look at anybody else, really. Needs to be played up top a bit further. Yeah, I mean, look.
Well, that's what it would be if Zambrano was not banned, wouldn't it? It would be Zambrano as the sitter, then Alzate and Puerta together. Alzate more advanced where Slater's playing at the moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's why you have options. You know, we've got all these midfield players over long season. Of course, it's not always going to be the same midfield.
talking of loanees, Carl Rushford's supposedly going back, isn't he?
Yes. That's an odd one because I'm not surprised that he would be going back, but we've been told time and time again when I've mentioned it, but no, we'll keep him because he'll play. But it's ridiculous. The same with Burns. I know he came off the bench, but if we need these spots to bring players in January, I think Rushworth, a goalkeeper that's not played, and you've got Richoppy if you desperately need him, that we spent money on because he's played in the Champions League. I'm not surprised that he would go back.
Yeah. Yeah, Betty needs to go back, obviously, because I think after watching him even come on for that little cameo, there you go, Cox. Yep, that little cameo that he came on for Preston as well, just looked god awful, even for a few minutes. If you're coming off the bench, at least kind of give a bit more. It just looks like he looked lost. I don't know if it was just me when he came on, but he looked like he didn't know what he was doing at all. And for someone of apparently his caliber to not know what you're doing as a striker, and then you're actually behind your central midfielders a lot of the time, he needs to disappear. He needs to create that spot. That's definitely something that needs to be done as soon as possible.
I think we'll make him disappear. Christ.
That's it. Well,
harsh.
Well, what about our left back situation today then? Because obviously we played Jacobs again, didn't we? At left back.
Yeah, I think in Giles injured.
Yeah.
Giles is it
against Preston? That's why he came off at half time.
I don't think Jacob's a bad player. I think that it's hard when you've had half a season out of the team to come back in to start the game and to be expected to be, fully up to speed with everything, match fit, all like that. So I can see why he's been took off. I don't think he did an awful lot wrong. I think their right winger was a good right winger, and he played really, really well. And you'd have him in our team straight away. And I think that Jacob played all right. And I don't think we should send him on loan because I don't think we've got enough cover at the moment. So to send him on loan would be wrong, I think. But that's just my opinion.
A left back in January is probably going to be a priority.
Yeah, definitely a fullback. But with Colin and Jame both shown that they can be okay at some points this season. I think Jacob and Giles, you're less convinced that side, definitely.
I mean, go on, Joe. Sorry.
Right. I think it's probably unwise, although I do think Matty Jacob would benefit from a loan. I think it's unwise to have 3 left backs out on loan from the club at a single time.
Yes.
Because
unless they've got recall options.
Yeah, well, Fairlong's at AFC Wimbledon, Fleming's at Doncaster, and then we've got Jacob, if we're thinking of loaning him out as well, although I think he could benefit from it. And I don't think Matty Jacob had a particularly brilliant first half, but I thought he's not anywhere near as bad as some people are making him out to be, because he showed last season when he came in and was keeping Ryan Giles out the team under Liam Rosenior that there is a player in there. But like you say, Adi, he was massively frozen out under Tim Walter. He was overlooked to start at left back when Giles wasn't in form for drama. And well, it's going to take time. This is only his third set of minutes. Came on at Coventry, and then obviously came on in these last 2 games as well. So Warlord Giles did get injured at Leeds away, but then he came back and Jacob was keeping him out the team for those last 3-4 games of the season after, I think it was QPR at home when Giles came back.
Yeah, I think the thing with it is when you look at Matty Jacob, he had a couple of good runs today. He got into the area a couple of times, and there was he could have had on a different day, he might have had a goal or something. He has scored goals for us, so it's not like he can't hit the net. He can do it. I think that as I say, I'm sure that some more minutes under his belt would really help. And you might be right, loan might work, but I don't think in the position that we're in at this precise moment in time, we could send him out on loan. If we get a different position by the end of January, then possibly, but at the moment, definitely not.
No, and that's the thing. Like you said, that kind of goal situation that you've just mentioned, Eddie. Have you noticed when we've had corners and set pieces up top, Jacobs has been the one pretty much always getting onto the end of them.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they've been going high and wide or, being saved, but it's nice to see a defender actually and a tall defender actually getting onto the ball in the box from a set piece.
You never really see Jones or McLaughlin, those big lads, actually get on the end of them, do you?
Yeah, and that's it. And I mean, look, he's only played a couple of games.
Sorry to just jump in, but Puerta's long throw, when we gave that a go, it was the right sort of idea of putting Jones and McLaughlin up there and just sort of pinging it towards them and see what happens. McLaughlin couldn't get on the end of it, but he went far away from it.
Didn't it go straight out for a throw? Or was that a goal? Sorry, goal kick.
Aimed towards Sean McLaughlin, but he just got seen out.
Yeah,
and can I just say, I think Macca's had a lot of haters on here, and I thought Macca, Jones was standout today. Don't get me wrong, but Macca, I thought had a good game as well again today, and he's not been in the fold as much, with Charlie Hughes being there and things like that. And he's jumped back in. He's the ultimate pro. He's giving his all for trying to keep us a clean sheet. And I think, again, he had another good game again today. And it proves that, a clean sheet proves that, your defence has had a good game. When you've got a clean sheet, they've done what they're supposed to do. Obviously, Jones' save on the line is outstanding. And that's the thing that gets us the win today, probably.
Yeah, you're right with McLaughlin there. I mean, he does get a lot of hate, and I'm one of the people who actually usually gives him the hate as well. I'm going to hold my hands up to him. But like today, though a few positional and a few wayward passes, but I mean, that's everybody who plays for Hull at the moment. So I can't just criticise the one player for that. But I did like how at times when he saw the space, when he had the ball at his feet, he actually entered into the space, and took the ball up and brought the play up. And that's something that you don't. Well, we saw a lot of that kind of centre backs running up under the ex-manager that shall not be named.
I don't think he had the ball though when he ran up. Did he?
He didn't have the ball when he did that running. But to kind of see that kind of confidence still with him to hold the ball up, and he had players on him. He actually had a lot of pressure on him as well, and to hold the ball and actually still create something. Yeah, he had a good game. I mean, it's just a case of Jones had the game. He was the best player on the pitch by far for both teams. He was the standout player. And I'm sorry to say, Nathaniel, I know Longman got the goal, but Jones still would get the highlights for us. And to be fair, so will Puerta with the amount of work he's done off the ball and on the ball.
Clean sheets.
I would pick Jones as man of the match purely just to spite Nathaniel.
No, I'm not going to dispute that. No, I mean, we desperately needed a clean sheet, and I think we need a few more, obviously, but that will give the whole team confidence. When one player scores, it can be just that player to get confidence, and Longman will get that, of course. But the whole team is at fault when you don't keep a clean sheet. It's not just the defence or the goalkeeper. And Panda especially will be really happy with that. He's had penalty saves and stuff this year, but only kept the one before today. So I think we've had a win at home to get that duck off our back, and then break that duck even, isn't it? And then, of course, the away win and the clean sheet that we desperately needed. I think surely at this point, confidence will be surging through the veins, going into two Duff home games. Should go into those thinking we can do the same, because we basically out to Blackburn today, because they usually win 1-0 as well.
That's it. I mean, you can't complain at the result against a very good team, really. I mean, we say they're on form. I mean, they've had a bit of a dip, but not enough to say they're playing badly. They're obviously playing a hell of a lot better.
You would have expected.
You would still expect. I mean, even after today's result, they're still fifth. They're still in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So for us to get a result against them is absolutely brilliant. And then, I mean, we're talking about results and teams on form, and obviously today's game, and then we're looking at Wednesday ahead of us, Middlesbrough at home. I mean, they've had draw. So they're a team on form. They're 7th at the moment at Borough. We've got them at home.
Impervious, are they? No.
So it means
their goal
exactly
scoring
that.
run's gone and been and gone on it now.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
They couldn't even beat Plymouth.
Which is guaranteed us losing by 5 now, I've said that.
Oh, of course.
We couldn't even beat Plymouth either.
No, but I'd take another draw against Middlesbrough, definitely.
Yeah,
100%.
Oh,
No,
I've just seen Jones's block. Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
on
not
the
quite
line.
Greaves. It's not quite Greaves at Coventry, but it's pretty good.
What do you mean you've just seen it, you plastic? You should be watching a dodgy scream live.
No, I don't do that because I'm an upstanding citizen.
Can I just ask you? Obviously, Jones started as captain today. Did that make him play better today?
Ooh.
He's usually the number 2,
mentally,
isn't
might
he?
have helped
Anyway.
him.
Sorry, Will, I didn't hear you then.
Sorry, mentally it might have helped him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Did it mentally give him a bit more because he was captain, and did that, improve his game? And would it be wise to think about? It's been talked about a lot on social media about changing the captain, keeping Coyle as the club captain, but then having a different captain on the pitch. I'm just wondering what's your thoughts on it.
Doesn't that undermine both roles there?
Well, a little bit, but you want 11 leaders on the pitch regardless, don't you? That's the ideal thing.
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of people, when it comes to the captaincy, they've been talking about with respect on the pitch, is more along the lines of how nicey, non-argumentative, I guess, Coyle is when it comes to being on the pitch and things like that. I mean, you always want a captain that will be, there you go, more vocal. I mean, God, if you're going to pick more vocal, there's a lot of players in Hull on that pitch, which are obviously a lot more vocal. But do they need the armband to be more vocal to the referee? Depends on what the referee's like, I guess, and what they've said before the game kicks off, because the referee will either turn around and say, look, I'll speak to you, or I'm only speaking to the captain, or with the captain present. So I guess it is a tricky situation. Jones, obviously, is usually number 2 when he has the armband anyway. So if Coyle ever comes off, Jones always gets that armband regardless. So it isn't a case of I don't feel like it's a step up. But, oh my God. Ben, you are banned. You are
Audio listeners, he said Longman for captain.
No way. But no, look.
Cynic for captain.
Cynic for captain, yeah.
Hughes for future, yeah. Neil, I mean, look, he's still too new at the club, but if you want someone who would have a mouth back at a ref, I'm pretty confident to be the ones that are mouth back at the ref, wouldn't you say?
But can I say something about Jones's performance? And this is just a jest in the festive spirit. Maybe he played better, not because he was captain, but because he didn't have Coyle next to him. It's just a little joke because he's been poor recently. But, Coyle then, of course, will still take a bit of confidence from coming off the bench and being part of the defensive effort to win us the game at the end. So they've all done their job, which is nice.
Oh, yeah,
it's nice to be talking about a win and a clean sheet for a change for us all. That's what's definitely nice, because we've not had enough of it this season. I don't know how many wins we've had in 2024, but it's not many.
No.
I know it's 4 at home, isn't it? I don't know how many we've had in total, home and away. But, I know it's not many. So it is really nice for us all to be talking about a win and a clean sheet. I knew Joe would have a look for me. It is nice to talk about a win and talk about a clean sheet, and well done to the team for playing like that. I think that Simon's coming in. He had a good game. I think it's obviously a little bit of fitness why he came off. 13 games that we've won in 2024. It's not a lot, is it?
No. And for a team that was 7th, that's really not very good, is it?
No.
Well, that was the thing after January, though, wasn't it? We did all those signings, which were great signings, but we kind of went on that nil-nil kind of, or even 1-1 where we had the game in hand and we just threw it away at the very end.
Birmingham and Stoke Birmingham and Stoke both home games.
That was the big ones, yeah. And
why are we talking about last season? We've won.
We're done.
We're looking ahead to the new year.
I'm not even going on about Preston because Preston was depressing, and I'm not going to talk about that.
But obviously, we are looking ahead to the new year now, and obviously, we've only got 2 days until we can sign some players. My hope is that he don't go crazy in the January transfer window. We do need some help, but I don't want him to go mad and us suffer for it and not be able to do something in the actual transfer window in the summer because we've spent too much money.
Have the problem that players can't gel. We saw how difficult it was last year for Liam Rosenior, who had a team with confidence playing well. That 7 new faces were brought in January, plus an injury for Liam Delap, and it made it harder for him because you're bringing in all these players who are trying to get used to new surroundings, new areas, in some cases new countries. So,
and they probably expect to play, Joe.
I know that's the thing. You get players like Ohio who wanted to come in and play, Pandra wanted to come in and play, and then they didn't for the most part. Zaruri did, Carvalho did, Zaruri did, and the less said about Billy Sharp, the better. But the thing is, I think when you look at where we need investment, I think we could do with, the minimum is 4.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. I think 4 would be the happy medium, and what 4 you get is the 4 that you get is the most important thing. I don't think it's about the quantity now. It's about the quality, and we need people that can come in and improve the team and maybe give the team a little bit more confidence, because ultimately, if you're bringing somebody in the dressing room, as you say, you don't want them to come in, you don't want them to upset the balance. You want them to come in, you want them to add something to the squad. So it's all about getting the right people in. And if we can't get the right people in, I wouldn't get somebody just for the sake of it, is my thing.
It's exactly that. It's about the right people. Like, we need 2 wingers. They want 2 wingers. We need a striker, and they want a holding midfielder as well to replace Zambrano. If Rushworth does indeed leave, we don't need another goalkeeper.
We'll get one though, won't we?
Yeah, probably. I saw someone mention the Altay Bayender links from Man United. That won't happen.
No,
not a chance.
They're not going to waste their time in January if we're trying to stay in the Championship. We've got 2 goalkeepers if they sign other ones.
Why?
So that's 4. I think they'll probably look for... So what? That's 2 wingers, striker, holding midfielder. And I think they'll look at another centre-half with Hughes being injured, because you never know about setbacks. And 6 to 8 weeks takes us to the end of February.
Same with Palmer. Do we need a number 10? We had Tufan Carvalho.
Well, I suppose it depends if both Malem and Amer go.
One of them will go, surely.
Surely. I think Malem's more likely to go than Amer, but it wouldn't shock me if both do. I believe the messaging from the club is that Abdush isn't going anywhere, but it wouldn't shock me if that changes. And then what I can see us maybe going for something else, but we don't. Like I say, maybe a left back, but we don't need to go mental.
No, but
we end up with players coming in. That's another rebuild. 4 or 5 is the sort of happy medium, as long as they're the right players, like you say.
And Ruben said, hasn't he, that he wants to trim his squad down a little bit. So if you're bringing in 4 or 5, you need to get rid of 6.
And if we get in 7, like I think Fletcher's suggested, that means to trim it, we'd have to get rid of about 10.
Yeah.
And we're not getting rid of 10 in January.
No. I mean, as you said, Rushworth's going back. I could see, I saw a comment, somebody put in the comments that they think Giles is going. I can see Giles going. I think Finlay Burns, although he came on today, I think he'll probably end up going back.
It's not helpful for Man City, is it? Mind you, with the way they've defended, they might just want to play him.
I think they won today.
Abdush, I'd send Abdush back. I think Malem, obviously, because he was one of Volta's signings, I think he probably wants to go away from here. Palmer's obviously injured. Badie you'd send back. Cynic, I'm not going to be cynical about this one, but he's got to go somewhere, hasn't he?
It'll go, but who would want him?
Well, it's a really good question. And then,
he's injured anyway. He's injured anyway, so he's not going anywhere.
He's injured till the end of the month, isn't he?
He's injured. He's injured until the 1st of January. And Will Jarvis is the big question. What happens with Will Jarvis? Who knows? That's So there's quite a few there that I've just listed that you can see going. And as you say, Cynic's all right. In about 48 hours' time, he'll be back fit again to go back to Turkey.
You could be spot on there, Eddie. To be fair, as we're looking at the squad and we're going through, he wants to kind of wiggle it down. If I'm not even going to say if Giles goes, but I still feel left back is probably one of our biggest spots needed anyway, especially with, well, let's be fair, Giles isn't a left back. So
wing back, isn't he? Really,
he's a wing back, so you can't class him in that aspect. So does that leave you at left back on the team sheet? Really? So you really do need one. Midfielders were saying Holding. Yeah, all right, Zambrano's got the ban, but we've still got a ton of midfielders which can, chop and change. I mean, we've got Xavier as well.
Yeah, I think it depends on the Malum situation, doesn't it? But we've got Simons, we've got Alzate, we've got Puerta, and we've got Slater. So you've got 4 there. Malum obviously depends on what he does. Abdush depends on what he does. But if them 2 go, then you probably do need to bring one in.
If one goes, yeah, obviously. But is that a priority now if they're not going? It's not a priority now we'll be looking at. No. And that's the thing. So when we're going and looking at 4, we don't own really a left back apart from Jacobs, which I'm not criticising the guy. He played it, but he's going to need cover. And we don't really have cover in Giles because he's a wing back. He's not a left back. And when you're playing 4-3-3, you can't have a wing back played in that 4-3-3 formation because he's made to be sat back. So, yeah, left back. Striker, we're not even going to debate over. We all know when he's striker. And as we said, 2 wingers. Because for me, Kamara is a League One, only League One. Don't ever see him even getting up to Championship standard unless he puts a bit more effort in.
The main thing he did today was pass the ball to Puerta when he was on the floor.
Yeah. That was horrific.
Unbelievable.
So somebody put that in the comments earlier. That was the best part of the match. I saw that come up.
I was going to say, I thought that was absolute genius.
I'm sorry, but there's literally a man on the floor. The referee has let play on. We could, in theory, just put the ball out of play if we want to stop it. Abu Kamara has the ball, thinks about taking his man on, stops, looks about, thinks, "Oh, I know. Let me. This will be
let it in.
This will be a great assist here. Gus. There you go, mate.
I'll smash it off Puerta's head on the floor.
I just can't get over him. I just can't get over him.
It was Johnny after the assist, wasn't it? That's all he was looking for was the assist.
Does that count as a completed pass?
His arms are outstretched like that. It's a handball and we lose the ball.
Do you think Bairstow was the right move being pulled off today?
I don't think he played as well today as he has done. I think that he's not a winger, is he? We're trying to play him as a winger, and he's not a winger. And he's played out of position for us. He's putting in quite a bit of effort, but he ain't a winger. And that's what I would say. When we've seen him play really well, but he's come on for the last 20 minutes as a winger, which, he can maybe do. But I don't know. When you're a striker, I don't think you've got that fitness that a winger has to get up and down the pitch all game. And, it's not your game, is it, that? It's not your game as a striker. So I think that we're playing him in the wrong position. And personally, what I'd have done, I'd have took Pedro off because I think he was getting tired towards the end. I'd have put Bairstow into the middle and I'd have changed it that way rather than the way that he did change it because I think, we play. It's hard for Bairstow at the moment having to play out on the wing and not getting a chance in the middle.
Well, that was the thing. Like you saw Pedro kind of legs going early on after the second half.
Yeah, he did.
Look, he tries. He does try, but he just for someone that was struggling so much within the game up top, and we were kind of looking for someone a bit pacier to kind of fetch on to chase the guys down a bit more because you could see he was tired. Surely that's where you go, right, we're bringing Longman on anyway. Bring Pedro off. Slap him up top for a bit because if you had to make another substitution anyway, we have who was on bench today? Other striker, young lad. Yeah,
Harry
Cyrus
Vaughan.
Fleming. Well, we had Harry Vaughan to go on the wing if need be. Yeah, but yeah, we had.
He's
Ty.
back on the bench, by the way. Just like complete tangent from what you're saying, Christian.
Sorry.
But I'm on a personal level, I'm buzzing Harry Vaughan's back in the fold. So
I was so happy he was on the bench today. I think I said it in the chat. Someone slated me for saying that I was extremely buzzing that he was back on the bench, and someone in the Discord had a go at me about it, and I'm like, well, calm down. And but you've got to think the lads did well when he was with us in Championship. Yeah, all right, he didn't have a good loan spell away. He isn't the strongest player in the world, but currently he's playing on form in the under-21s.
And you might do better than Kamara, surely.
No, it's not a might there, Nathaniel. That's a definite will do better than Kamara.
Just back to Kamara, right? It's not even the pass to a man on the floor that's the worst bit. For me, it's ball played through. It's when the keeper came out and sort of just managed to like unorthodoxly grab it. But when the keeper was rushing out, Kamara didn't even look like he was sprinting. It just looked like he was sort of just going through the motions of looking like he was going for the ball. If he puts the afterburners on, makes an effort to get to that, he rams the keeper and then finishes that unless it's cleared on the line.
Yeah,
if you showed that little bit of desire, that'd endear him to fans a little bit more. But that plus the Gustavo Puerta, even though he's just been kicked in the chest and he's lying on the floor, winded like nothing. Let's see if I can get this assist. Can you head it in, even though there's no power on the ball and you're laid on the floor, Gustavo? Let's see. And you're 20 yards out. For me, that the no effort to get to that, or what it looked like no effort to get to that ball, was worse somehow than the pass to Puerta on the ground.
I agree. But it's not the first time we've mentioned this as well. Sorry, Eddie. It's not the first time we've actually turned around and said about kind of the Kamara effort to run onto the, I say loose ball when it's within reach.
Well, I just want to say two things, and then I'm going to go because my brother's visiting from London downstairs, and I'd like to go see him again. Firstly, it's been a quite a poor year when this is going to be quadruple alliteration. Much maligned Marvin Malem is the top assister in the league for the whole calendar year. He's got 3. So we've got Amar, Philogene, Tufan, Carvalho, Morton, Delap, all these great attacking players, and it's actually Malem who's the top assister. And then finally, long live Longman and up the Tigers. And Happy New Year to everyone. I'm going to let the 4 of you carry on.
All the best, Nathaniel. Can I just say, in the comments, there was a couple of comments talking about Pedro. One of them put that he's run himself into the ground for us, and I agree, definitely has. And the other comment was that he's played more games over the festive season than they expected. And I agree again. I didn't expect him to play this many. He's doing really well, is João Pedro, for us at the moment. And I think that's why I took him off today, just because he is doing that well for us. He is leading the line well for us. We need to keep him fit. So you've got to be a little bit more careful with him because of his age. And I think that's one thing that maybe Ruben hasn't got right at the moment. He needs to, give him. I know he's not got many people to bring off the bench, but he could have brought on Sellers Fleming today or something like that. And that'd have made the difference. But I think that he's got to watch that because you can't afford at the moment for Pedro to get an injury.
I just think with the nature of the game, bringing Sellers Fleming on would have been a sort of not shooting yourself in the foot because I like Ty, but it was the sort of scrappy game that you need seasoned pros in. And I think that's why he refrained from bringing on Harry and Ty. And to an extent, Chris Padilla, because Pedro's just got that extra nous about him, playing at a higher level of football that Chris Padilla hasn't. And in sort of games like that, you need that know-how.
He could have put Bairstow in the middle, Joe, and he's Bairstow he's playing quite well for us, and he has got, he's a big lad who can put himself about a little bit as the same as what Pedro does. So I think he could have done it, to be honest. I think he could have done it, and I think you've got to look at you've got to look at saving Pedro's legs a little bit because, you know, as it's been said on the pod tonight, there's 2 hard games coming up. You know, we've got Middlesbrough and then we've got the white stuff from across in West Yorkshire. The 2 really, really difficult games for us. And to get, I said if we'd have got a point out of these 3 games, I'd have probably been happy. So I'd be happy to take a point for both of them games as well.
So a successful Christmas period by your judging then, AD.
Yeah, no, definitely, because, you know, we've it's been a struggle for us, and we knew how well Blackburn was doing. The form was quite good. To get a win there today, I think we're already in a successful period at the moment, and it's got to buoy them for the Middlesbrough game. There'll be a big crowd against Middlesbrough. It's New Year's Day. People will have hopefully got over the drink because it's a 5:30 kickoff, and, you know, so there will be a big crowd there, and it should hopefully buoy them to do well and hopefully get another win.
Yeah, it will do. It's going to be a kind of a big one, I guess you could say, with the being the New Year's Day. I know it's Middlesbrough and it's not the white stuff, as you say, but that's obviously, you know, a few days after. But being New Year's Day and on the back end of a win as well, we would expect a big home crowd. And with respect to Pedro, as you were saying, you kind of would have brought him off, I guess, because wouldn't you want to save his legs a bit more for the Borough game? You know, are you playing a risk? Because if Pedro gets injured, it's danger zone time. I mean, look at who his replacement is up top at the moment.
What I would say is, tactically, I think nothing wrong went wrong yesterday because we won 1-0 and got a clean sheet. And secondly,
Today, son.
You know what I mean. Christmas season blares into several days and weeks of drinking nothing but alcohol.
It's already had a sleep, hasn't he?
Is that a nap after?
But not just that. It's easy to go. We should have brought him off early because he could be injured in the. But that's all hypothetical. He might not get injured at all for the rest of the season, despite playing every single game 90 minutes. You got to play for the game that's currently happening rather than the ones ahead, and we did that, and we got 3 points.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. Well, fair point.
It's always a fair point. I mean, look, we're only going to keep going on and speculating what could have, would have, should have. I just think from what we're seeing is you can just see that he's getting a bit tired.
Yeah.
And when players are starting to get a bit tired, yeah, obviously you're going for the win of that game. When a player starts getting tired, they're more susceptible to injuries. They really are. It's more susceptible when you're playing tired because your legs aren't picking up as much as you are. If you get the ball at your feet and you're coming for a tackle, you don't have the agility to kind of avoid that tackle and you're going to take the full brunt force. And with being a seasoned striker, let's call it, you're definitely going to be more susceptible to a heavy tackle. And I guess it is a risk, but I understand why we're doing it. I guess we're just waiting for this January transfer market, really.
Well, supposedly one is close, and that is hopefully done before Leeds. But the way transfers work, anything can change. So, like, all you've got to do, if it's a winger, for example, is look at what happened with Jester and Raksaki a few deadline days ago, when we were more than ready to do the deal. Palace were more than ready to do the deal, but they didn't get their replacement done in time, and thus Raksaki remained at Crystal Palace for that was deadline day summer 23, and Raksaki remained at Crystal Palace for the remainder of the season. And you know, it could be all agreed now. Like, let's take the Raksaki example again. Tan said in pre-season about Raksaki that if he were to leave Crystal Palace on loan, we would be first choice because we'd built that relationship. We'd had talks with him previously, and it just didn't come off because of whatever reason we've just discussed. But then another club can come in. Like every single Championship club will want Louis Barry because we've got that relationship with Villa that could put us ahead in the pecking order. But then all of a sudden, Leeds, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, etc., teams way higher up the league than us can come in and say, "Oh, we're interested," and then all of a sudden, Louis Barry's head's turned. So
I'm right in thinking that we can't sign anybody to play in the game against Middlesbrough anyway, can we?
not well, no, because
that's New Year's Day.
Yeah, they'd have to be registered on New Year's Eve, and the
Which they
registration
can't sign from until the 1st. So
they would have to be registered on the 1st when that registration window opens, but they wouldn't be done in time to play against Borough.
So Saturday's the earliest they could play then in reality if they did sign for us on the 1st.
Against Leeds, yeah. Should we do a little look ahead to Borough and Leeds then?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
I mean,
to be fair, that's what I was loading up just now, to be fair, at my end.
Well, we played Borough not too long ago. We know the quality they possess, but like you said earlier in the podcast, Will, their streak has gone. Their goal-scoring purple patch has gone. But we know the quality they've still got, right?
They're a quality side, and we ain't got a good success rate against them, have we? You know, it's not good. But you know, I heard in the commentary today that you know our success rate against Blackburn isn't the best. So you know, can Ruben turn that success rate around and get us a success against Middlesbrough as well? It would be nice to see. But you know, I ain't got too many fond memories about going up to the Riverside. And I ain't got too many fond memories about them being here either, because I think that they always seem to just get one over on us. It'd be nice that if that was changed and, you know, we could manage to grab a 1-0 victory, the same as what we've had today. Let's hope that the boys don't go out on New Year's Eve and that they're up and ready to go.
They can have their party after the game.
Yeah.
That's it. But, I mean, look,
takeaway.
Yeah, no, but like, look, Borough are playing in 5 minutes time against Burnley, so that's a big game for them anyway. You know, Borough Burnley. That's a bit of a I don't want to call it top of the table clash, but it
probably is.
It is. Yeah. So obviously there's going to be a lot of effort, and a lot of things thrown in there from Borough being 7th. I think we're a Burnley now as well. And now I'll try and remember this.
I'm just trying to find out for you as you talk.
Burnley a third.
Yeah, they are.
And they've won their last 3.
And Borough's 7th at the moment. So, you know, there's... so
it's Borough, obviously. Yeah, Borough definitely want to get those 3 points, because if they get those 3 points, they're going to be pushed
back in the top 6.
Into the top 6, which will actually put them into 5th over Rovers. At the moment, because Rovers still and Watford have a game in hand. So I think they play tomorrow, don't they? Do Watford? I think
Watford played today.
So they played today, yeah. So
will come elsewhere.
Yeah, elsewhere down the line.
But yeah, should we do predictions for Borough then? Will?
Oh, this is easy. 3-0 City.
How could we possibly guess?
Ryan Longman hat-trick.
No.
Are you turning that down? If I offered you that, would you turn that down?
No. I would never turn it down, but I wouldn't come on that bloody podcast after. I can tell you now, I would not come on just for Nathaniel.
I wouldn't come on either.
If we're gonna go, obviously you said you're 3-0. I'm actually gonna go with a bit of a crazy one, and I think it's gonna be a 2-1 City.
Not against that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go for a 0-0, and I'd like another clean sheet, and I think that'd give us something to build on. And you know, so I'll go 0-0, and I'd be happy with that.
I was thinking about that, but I think I can see Borough scoring still.
Same. That's why. Yeah.
So I'll go 1-1, but I like your style. And for that other Yorkshire team that plays in white and had a badge like a Gaviscon logo rebrand that lasted about 6 hours.
Why are you also scared of saying the name Leeds?
It's a horrible name, Will. You don't want to be saying things like that. You'll have bad dreams tonight now, Will. You said that.
As for them, then shall well. What is
I hate to admit it.
They're a good side, aren't they?
They've won 4 out of the last 5 games. They've drawn 1. The top of the league at the moment on 51 points. They're doing really well this season. Be 3-0 City, won't it?
Whoa, that's my line. Copyright infringement here. I'm not having this.
So sue me, Will.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you'll be hearing from my lawyers very soon.
Right. So, as for you and me, then, Christian, while Will takes AD into the civil courts, what's your score prediction?
Realistic one or prayed one? Because
go ahead and say 10-0 City first, and then give us what you want.
yeah. No infringement on that one. No, I would love, and I mean love, a draw. I would love it more than anything. 0-0, 1-1, 2-2. I'd take any of them. I'd take as long as it's a draw. But realistically, they've got 15 wins under the belt. They've lost 3 times. It's not a team that is behind on luck in any way. I can't even call it luck because they're playing really well. I mean, it took them, today? I think it was 1-0 against Derby. So, and they've had a lot of games going thick and fast like ourselves. You know what? I'm actually going to stick with a 1-1.
Okay.
I think their legs might start playing a bit of a part for us to kind of go, let's have a cheeky 1-1. To only get 1-0 against Derby today, you would have expected more.
Derby are good at home, though, and we're not.
That's true. That is true. No, look, it's a
Excuse
new
me.
year.
We won our last game at home.
Yeah, it's a new year.
Game, but talk about the 7 before that.
Hey, 2024 is going. It's gone. We're playing this in 2025.
That means nothing.
2 games at home. If we get 2 wins at home straight away, that's it. I will be going nuts.
I called it the Stadium of Doom a few weeks ago because Hull FC are terrible as well. But yeah, I think if we can get decent results against Borough and Leeds, I'd be happy to surrender that tag and just consider calling Hull FC rude expletives. Anything else anyone wants to add?
I think the only thing I want to speak about, I guess, is with respect to the players that we've currently got, and I know transfer market is opening up, and it's something I bring up on Tiger Talk quite a lot anyway. But with the players that we currently have, do we still feel this 4-3-3 that Ruben is kind of solid into? Do we think it's still the right way to go? For now, yeah. You don't feel like potentially with how, say, Drame was on the right, if you could play him more as that kind of right wing back situation and have the 3 at the back.
I think personally, but with the amount of defenders that we've got at the moment, if you start to play 3 centre backs and then 2 wing backs, you're putting a lot of pressure on your defenders that you've got. Because we haven't got enough in the backup, you're looking, then you've only got Smith really as a backup, because I presume that you're going to play Coyle as the right centre back. You're going to play Alfie Jones in the middle and McLaughlin at the other side, So then you've got you're putting a lot of pressure on who you've got in backup. And as I say, the only person that you've really got in backup then is Andy Smith. So I think because of the situation that we're in at the moment, that's all we can do.
Smith, Burns, and Ashby out on loan, and it's worth saying as well that Zayas has never used a 3-back.
No, he never has. I'm just trying to find a way around not having Kamara in the team, if I'm being totally honest with you. If I'm being totally honest with you. There's no point having the guy on the pitch at the moment. How much did he cost us? 5 mil or something crazy like that?
The figure being bandied about, but I can't think it'll be anywhere near
I had 5.35 mil with what that'll go up to.
I know we're very close to ending, but just let me. I saw something, and I don't know how true it is, that basically at the moment Jacob Greaves is earning 25 grand a week at Ipswich, and we've got Giles and we've also got Umar, probably Cynic as well, that are on 35 grand a week. So why are we paying players 35 grand a week when Ipswich are paying Premier League players 25 grand a week? What's that all about?
It's just poor management, and I don't think Giles will be on 35. I can see Cynic and Abdush being on somewhere around that, just because Turkish tax at Hull City, that's how it goes. And the fact that Cynic has been allowed to consistently earn that despite not playing over 60 minutes for what is now 2 years is shocking. But we're dwelling on Gökhan Cynic again. And on that note, I'm going to leave that bit of conversation there. But it's a good point you make, Adi. Anyway, just because it's a brain team negotiation, club management first window problem, really, isn't it?
It is definitely. And you're right, we probably need to leave it there. Now the next question is, and this is down to Joe.
Okay.
Can you get home for 8 o'clock on Wednesday night?
For Tigers talk.
Tigers talk, yeah. You see, yeah. I think we can do it, Joe, and I think we could talk about the game after the game at 8 o'clock, and I think it'd be good.
It might be while I'm eating my tea.
That's all right.
We can do it.
Let's do it then. Let's do it. So, Tiger Talk will be at the slightly later time this week of 8 o'clock on Wednesday. It'll be live on the radio as well as on the pod here. So, looking forward to that. And we'll maybe talk a little bit more about incomings, outgoings, what players are paid, and the game on Wednesday night.
And, well, that is everything you'll get from us tonight. Nathaniel has, of course, departed to join his family. Honestly, imagine deserting. I know, it's disgusting, isn't it? He shall lose access to the StreamYard account and never be on again for that. Will, with his broken webcam, is currently punching the air at that one. So, thank you for watching. Thank you, Adi and Christian, for coming on at short notice as well. Really, really appreciate that. And, we will see you for Tigers Talk at the slightly later time, 8 o'clock on Wednesday. But then the main show will be back Sunday at 7 after Leeds as per. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Up the Tigers. Goodbye.